Samach Amid Bais. We're close to the top of the page. Shalish Nashim Shalavshu. We learned in the Mishnah. Was it a Mishnah or a Bais? There were three women. It's a Mishnah. Three women that wore the same garment. Or they sat on a stool. So they're all tummy. If they found blood on the stool or the garment. If they sat on something that's not makabel tumah, then they're going to be tar. And Rabbi Menachem says that anything that's not makabel tumah is tar. Gemara says like this: Amar Rav Masna, you probably have Rav Matana. Amar Rav Matana. My time with Rabbi Menachem. What's the reason of Rabbi Menachem? The quotes of pasuk in Yeshaya. V'nikasa, la'aretz teishet. She shall become empty. She sits on the ground. It's talking about the mourning, the lament. And kibbutz sheyashva la'aretz nikasa. What it means is, when she sits on the ground, she becomes clean. That means that the ground doesn't become tameh. That's what we're referring to over here. That something that's not makabel tumah is not susceptible to the halachas of stains. Amar Rav Huna, Amar Rav Chanina. Okay. Mitar Hayarav Nechemia Afila Bachir Kli Cheres. The Kli Cheres, the earthenware vessel, is only tameh from the inside. So it's a keli that could become tameh, but the back of it, if you touch the outside of it, it doesn't become tameh. So if there's a stain that's found on the outside of a Kli Cheres, it also doesn't become tameh. Either it itself becomes tameh through the inside, but not on the outside. The Gemara says, Pshita, that's obvious. The Gemara says, maybe I should make a gzeira. I could have thought that I should make a gzeira. The outside of the keli doesn't become tameh, but we should make a gzeira that it should become tameh because the inside becomes tameh. If something goes into the airspace, Kamash Malan, you don't make any such gzeira. If you find it on something that's not makabel tumah, down over there, there's Gemaras down there on the. Take out a whole bunch from the Amar Abaya. Abaya says, that's good. Mitar here, Rabbi Nechemia b'matlani yashem behen shalish al shalish. Rabbi Nechemia would say that cloths that don't have 3x3 finger widths, this is where the source of the cloth, the size of the Vedika cloth comes from, because it needs to be a cloth that's the size of 3 fingers. So the lechazin leilaniyim v'leila shirim, it can't be used for poor people or for wealthy people. It has to do with the size of a patch that they would put on. We used to have patches on the over here, but they used to remember the hole you put on a patch. It was a normal thing. Today I don't see it really, but only on the shoulder, only on the elbows. Okay. The Gemara talks about putting patches on patches. Okay, Darash Rab Chia bar Rav Matana Mishmei Rav. Rab Chia bar Rav Matana. I always say Rav Masna. Rab Chia bar Rav Masna says the name of Rav. Halach is Rav Nechemia. Halach is like Rav Nechemia. Rab Nechemia is Matrili, is a Tana. He's the one that argues very often in the Medrash with Rabbi Yehuda regarding if the brothers married their sister, the Shvatim married their sisters, or if they married Knanias, that's Machlekes Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Nechemia. All through the Medrash, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Menachem are always arguing. Rabbi Nechemia should be the author of the Tosefta, the Stam Tosefta is Rabbi Nechemia. It was made by Rabbi and Rabbi Shia. So he's under the students of Rabbi Akiva.
He's up a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's a peer.
See, Rabbi Yehuda is on the same line. Rabbi Yehuda under Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yisrael, Rabbi Shimon. Yeah, Rabbi Yehuda Bar Bilai is Rabbi Yehuda that argues for the family and the Medrash. So they say the halach is like Rabbi Nechemia. So this is Rabbi Chia bar Rav talking. Rabbi Chia bar Rav Masna. Amalei Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman says to him, Abba Tani. Abba is a nickname for Rav. Rav taught a brisa. that there was a story that came in front of the sages, and they said that it's tummy. And you're telling me the Allah is like an individual? Allah is like Rabbi Menachem. See where we're on page 60b. 60b. A little bit before a new Mishnah. What is that? Is that a volume 1? Oh, that's not going to work. Is there a volume 2 there? Yeah, okay. So 60b, I don't know which one. So the Gemara says, Mikey, what is the brisa that Rav taught that Allah is like the Chachamim? The Tanya was taught in the brisa. There's 2 women that are working a mill. They're grinding in a mill. Shalyad, it's a hand mill. I don't know exactly how the hand mill works, but there's blood under the inner person. That means that there's someone that's probably more inside the area and there's someone that's outside, probably moving stones or putting the grain in. I don't know exactly. But the one that's closer in is there's blood under her. So shteim tmeis to both times. Why? Because the one that's outside, for some reason, is always trying to push inward to get closer in. So therefore, it's possible that it came from the one that's outside as well. But if it's under the outer one, then then the pnimis is going to be tied. It depends where you find the blood. It must be on something that's not the floor, because if it would be the floor, then there would be tar. Oh, there's a picture of the mill. So, okay. This is the picture of the hand mill. The stones. See that? Isn't that interesting? The grooves in the stones, they took it apart. That's the bottom stone, that's the top one. Just turn.
Like a fan.
Yeah. So, but I don't know what's really the inside, the outside, like what's going on over there. I guess there's 2 people pushing this. So, how are you feeling? Much better, but okay. So it says, stay in Timaeus. Do this again. If it's under the inner one, so shteim tmeis. If it's under the outer one, achitzayna tmeis. And the inner one is tar. Being tayim. Let's say it's between in between, somewhere in the middle, between the outer woman and the inner woman when they're working this mill. Then shteim tmeis. Okay, it's all logical. Hayamaisa. There was a story. They found blood on the edge of a bath. Ambati is a bath. The Bais intestine is already the bath. Right? Right, it probably comes from that.
I know, this just cracks me.
Val ala shel zayis. And on the leaf of the olive. That's what we're looking for here. You see what's going on? Olive leaf is not makabel tama. Olive leaves were not really food. They weren't food. So if it's not food, it's not makabel tama. But anyway, they found blood on the olive leaf. Shasha Masika says Satana while they were lighting the oven. I guess they were using it for fuel. The story came in front of the Chacham. The Chacham said that it's tummy. Aha! You see that they're not passing like Rabbi Menachem. And who's not passing like Rabbi Menachem? It's the Chachamim, it's the Rabbim. So why are you telling me that Rav passing like Rabbi Menachem? Rav taught a brisa that the Chachamim argue with Rabbi Menachem. Rav wouldn't pass like Rabbi Menachem over the Chachamim. Gemara says Tanai, it's actually machlekes Tanaim. Some say that the ones that argue with Rabbi Menachem is an individual, and some say that it's the Chacham the Tanya Rabbi Yaakov Mitam, Rabbi Menachem Mitar. I have another brisa. It says it wasn't when it says Chachamim. Who's the Chacham? It means someone else, or it could be everyone else. So here, there's a machlekes. Some say Chachamim is majority. Some say it's Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbi Yaakov Mitam Rabbi Mitar. Chacham Rabbi Nechemia, and the sages pass like Rabbi Nechemia. So a kesem would not be tamei if it's on something that's not makabel tamei. The Mishnah says like this: Shalish nashim sheyishenis b'mita. 3 women that are sleeping in a bed, b'mita achas, in one bed. V'nimtza dam tachas achas mehem, and you find blood under one of them. So kulan tameis, they're all tamei. Why? Because when they sleep, they move around. Badka, or maybe they're close together. The Gemara is going to say something like that. Badka achas mehem, one of them does an examination. V'nimtza tameya, she finds that she was actually the one. She's tamei. So he tameya v'shteim tahiris. We attribute the blood to her, and the other 2 are going to be tar. We found the culprit. The Taila zu b'zu, and they can attribute it one to another. For example, if one of them is pregnant, or one of them isn't, so we'll assume that the blood came from the one that's not pregnant. Whereas the one that was more logical to have the blood, that's how it will be. It will be the one that will be tummy, and the other one will be pure. But if none of them were suited to see, that means all of them were in a situation where they should not have seen any blood. They're all pregnant. They're all nursing. There shouldn't be any blood there. So very nice and kila and reyes. Now the blood has to come from somewhere. So we're going to have to make all of them as if they're all seeing, because we have no reason to attribute it to one more than the other, because they all are in the same situation.
To the lights.
If it's more than the size of a louse, that's what we're talking about. If it's under the size of a louse that it would have been, then we'll attribute it to the louse. But if it's too large for it to be a louse, then maybe it's 10 lice. Okay, the Gemara says we only do one. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Rav Yehuda said, "Name Rabu Shabbat Katzman B'Shir Vest." We said that if the woman finds herself tamei, so she's tamei and everyone else is tar. So Rav Yehuda says, "Name of Rav." That's only if she did an examination immediately after finding the stain. But if she waited, then it's very possible that the stain came from someone else. She wasn't even tamei when the stain came. She became tamei later. So it has to be immediately after finding the stain. Finding the stain doesn't mean that the stain came. But nevertheless, once they spot the stain, she has a sheer vessus. It's a very small amount of time it takes to take a cloth and use it. So, Sabala Kabarpada. Because Rav holds like Barpada. The Amar Kol Shabayla Bechatas, Tarisa Tmeis. Barpada held like this. That if there's a woman that's working with taharis, that means pure grain, that she needs to keep it pure. So, and she does an examination. She finds that she's tamei. Now, if the examination would be, or not, even if it's not an examination, if she does an examination, she sees that she's tamei. Rashi doesn't say actually that it's an examination. She lets go of the taras, and she sees blood, and that blood that she sees is during the amount of time that it would have taken, that if she would have been together with her husband, and she separates from him, and she sees blood, that her husband would have to bring a chatas, which is a very small amount of time. That's this amount of time that's called kashir veses. So then the taharas are going to be tamei. But if she waits any more than that, then we say the taharas are going to be tahar. Baila ba'asham tali. Let's say she waited the amount of time that if she would have been with her husband would not have to have brought a chatas, because we would have said that the blood came after the relations. Then he would only have to bring an asham tali. So if it's that amount of time, kadesh tered minamita, we learned the Gemara before, the amount of time it takes to go down from the bed and wash that area. So then tariset lias. So in other words, what we're doing here is we are discussing size, an amount of time. With this, the amount of time is what's determining how much. The amount of time is determining how much how close it needs to be for the taras to be tummy. And Barpada doesn't hold of tumas mafreya. It's not going back. It's only going. At least it's not to be mitame the taras. It's not. Then it's not going back. Barpada doesn't hold of tumas mafreya. It needs to be. The examination needs to be very close to the time that she was holding the taras. The way we measure that is if her husband would have had to bring a chatas or an ashim tali. Baila pater. Let's say it would have been the amount of time after that her husband would have to bring a chatas. So then Tarisa, then the taras that she was involved with is also tar. Rabbi Shiamar afilu baila b'chatas Tarisa tluyas. Rabbi says you can't compare. There's two cases. One is when she's with her husband, she separates and she sees blood. And another case is she's working with taras, she lets go of them, and then she sees blood. So even if baila b'chatas, even if it would have been so quick that her husband, if she would have been with her husband, the husband would have had to bring a chatas because he was living with the Nidda, even though the blood wasn't seen when they were together, the blood was only seen afterwards. But because it was so close, when they saw the blood, it's assumed that it was there before as well. So even if it's that amount of time, but when she's Isaac Bataras, we don't say that the taras are Tameas. Why? It says Bishlai Mahasam. When the husband and wife are together, we could say that the relations held the blood in. But over here, if she had the blood while she was busy with the taras, why didn't it come out right away? Why didn't it come out it came out later? So it must be that it came later. So during the relations, we say that the relations held the blood in. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah. Mashal de Rabbi Yeshua Mad Davidaim. Rabbi Yomi says, I'll give you an example. Liyeled v'zachin shei malcham aderech. There's a child and an old man that are on the road. Kolsman shei b'derech yeled shei lavai. While they're on the road, the child is waiting for the old man to catch up. Nichnasu le'ir. Once they get into the city, yeled mamai lavai. The child just runs off on his own to his place, and the old man makes his way along. What is that supposed to show us? What is that supposed to show us? How do they explain the mashal? What do they say in the commentary?
It just says the exact same thing. Even if it do zelatzad, we tell the zelatzad, they told. As I yelled in my hair,
Do they have anything in the comment what it has to do with the blood coming out? I think what he's saying is that while they're together, if they're having relations, so the blood waits till it's finished. Once they separate, then the blood comes out afterwards. As opposed to when she's Isaac Bataras, that there's no reason for the blood to delay. Rabbi says, Mashal de Rabbi Shalma Davidaima. Gives another example. Ladam Shneis Nespa Ba'ai, and a person puts his finger in his eye. Kosman Shetsba and Dimashayalavi. While the finger is in the eye, the tears wait. Not the Letspa, but when he takes his finger out, then Dimam Meher Slavi, then the tears start to flow. So that's his example. Okay. So what we left off with is that Rabbi Yehuda Amarav said that if you want to attribute the blood to one woman and to say that she's the one that's tummy and the other ones are tar, it would have to be done very quick, because he would hold like Barpada that says that there's a difference in the amount of time of when we'll attribute the blood to this woman. The Teles Zubazu, they can attribute the blood one to another, which means that if one's pregnant, as we said, and the Gemara is going to say, Tana Rabbanu was starting to Bais, Ketza Teles Zubazu. How do they attribute it one to another? Ubra v'sheina ubra. Let's say in the bed was a pregnant woman and a non-pregnant woman. Tayla ubra v'sheina ubra. So the pregnant one attributes the blood to the non-pregnant one and says the blood came from you probably, because pregnant doesn't see blood. So you're the one that's stomach. Again, they found the stain. You don't know who it's from, so you attribute it to the one that it was probably from. Same case. Minika v'sheina minika. A nursing mother and a non-nursing mother. The nursing one says it's probably from you. The non-nursing. Zakena v'shena zakena, an older woman and a non-older woman. See that? Tayla Zakena B'Sheina Zakena means that.
No exception, grace. Already being called grandma.
So the older one says, "Look, it's probably from you." Basula B'Sheina Basula. Basula over here means a girl that never saw blood before. It doesn't mean a virgin. It means someone that hasn't seen blood because she's too young. So Tayla Basula B'Sheina Basula. The Basula, the one that never saw blood, said it's probably from you. You're older. You already saw the blood, so it's probably from you. You're talking probably that Basula's married. That they would get married young even before they saw blood. Let's say they're both in the same situation. This is how we learned in the Mishnah that if they're not suited to see, then you look at them as if they are suited because you don't have anyone to attribute it to. If they're both in the same situation, then they're both considered tamei. Next Mishnah. 3 women that are in one bed. You find blood under the middle one. So, kulan tameis, they're all tamei. Tachas apnimis, under the inner one. Inner one here means that the bed was next to a wall. So, if it's under the one closest to the wall, so shtayim apnimis tameis. The 2 inner ones are tamei, v'achitzaina tahira, and the outer one is going to be tar, because the blood is not from her. Now, the last Mishnah did not make this distinction, and the Gemara is going to ask that question. The last Mishnah just said 3 women in a bed, they're all tamei.
Because she couldn't roll over that far. Or something.
Well, we're going to say the position that they're in is going to change things. Tachas achitzaina, if it's under the outer one, shtayim achitzainas tameis, then the 2 outer ones are tamei, because it could have came from either of them. But pnimis taira, but the inner one is tar. Now look at what the Gemara says. Eimasai, when do we the Mishnah? Bizman she'avru derech margalia samita. That's only if they crawled into the bed, coming from the feet of the bed. But if they all crawled over each other on their way into the bed, the long side of the bed, so then avlamav derech aliyah. So they went over, and then kulan tameis. Then it could be that it fell from the woman that was going in the inside. It fell from her as she was crawling, as she was getting into bed. But let's say one of them does an examination, she's tar, going the other way. Last Mishnah we said we did an examination, she's tamei. We said, oh, the other ones are tar because she's the guilty one. Here, she's doing an examination, and she finds she's tar, then the other ones will be tamei. He tar shtayim tameis. She's good. I'm clean. I know. I did an examination. But kushtayim matzin tairis. Let's say 2 of them did an examination. They're tar. So hein tairis shlishis tameis.
Yeah, but just want to say, initially when you hear this, it just sounds like so ludicrous. That last night I had a bunch of grandkids sleep over. I slept upstairs, but when I went in this morning to try and get my clothes, I come in the bedroom and there's my wife and 4 kids sleeping all over on beds on the floor, and I had to tiptoe over that step. So in reality, in those days where they had like one room, I never, you could see how this were real.
Sometimes you see the kids they fall asleep in the siblings' beds. You see the legs draped over the other one,
Right.
So it's kind of hard to understand this, right?
Well, over here, they would have been separated. It's probably older. Here it's probably younger, and they're just they sleep differently. So the Gemara is going to ask that. But shlashtan, let's say all 3 did an examination, and they're all tar. We saw this coming. First one did an examination, she was tar, so the other 2 are tamei. 2 did an examination, they're tar, and the other one is tamei. Let's say all 3 did an examination with imtza tairis, so kulan tameis, they're all tamei. Lamad davar daim, what is this similar to? This, the Gemara is going to ask on this example, because you don't have to give another example for this. It's mamish the same thing. You'll see. Lamad davar daim legal tamei. Shenasar ben shnei galam taim. There's a mound that there's tumah under it. And we confused it with 2 other mounds in the ground, a little mound. We're confused. We don't know which one is the tar and which two are the tar and which one is the tamei. But kachas man, the matzah tar. You examined one of them, you checked under it, and you find that it's tar. So who tar shnayim tameim? The other two are going to be tummy. Shnayim, you examine two of them, and those were both good. So haim tarim shlishi tummy. Their tar, and the third one is tummy. So they say it's such a strange thing that I always find it in the last place that I look. So shlashtan, they check the third one. And that's also tar. So kul and tameim. They're all going to be tamei. Divrei Reb Meir. That's Reb Meir's opinion. Reb Meir says, anything that was assumed to be tamei remains tamei until you find out where the culprit is, until you find out where the tum is. And here you didn't find it, so it's back to its status of tumah. The Chachamim say, the Chachamim say that you examine until you get to the bedrock, or you get until the ground that was never moved. Okay. The Gemara asks right away the question that we mentioned. What's the difference? The first Mishnah, we did not make any distinctions about if there's three women in a bed, we said automatically that all three are tummy if there's a stain. And the second Mishnah, we said it depends. If it's under this one, then this one's tummy. If it's under that one, then that one's tummy. Or those two are tummy. Rabbi Mishalavais. Rabbi answers, Mishalavais means that depends how close they were when they were sleeping. That's the situation where you have them one's legs draped over the other one, they're all tummy. But if they're probably a larger bed, then it depends where it was found. But one of them didn't examine. Why did it have to bring in that second case? What is this similar to? We said that all three did examine, and they found that they're tahar, so they're all tummy again. We said, this is just like if there's three mounds, and there's tum under one of them, and you checked all three, and you couldn't find it. So we say that we say that they're all tummy. Why do you have to bring that example? What are you adding another example? What is the example teaching us? Hachi kamalu. This is what it's. Hachi kamalu Reb Meir Rabbanan. This is what Reb Meir is saying to the Rabbanan. Maishna bedam b'leifal gisa, maishna begal defal gisa. Reb Meir is telling them, why do you argue with me regarding the mounds? You agree to me regarding the blood, that they're all going to be tamei if you all three did an examination. But by the mound, you say that the mound, you say that they're not going to be tamei. You say that that you have to check till the bedrock. What would Reb Meir hold? That they're all going to be tamei. Even if you check to the bedrock. Because why do you agree? Why do you agree by the nida that they all become tamei, but by the mounds you say that it's going to be tar even if you didn't find it, as long as you did a good examination. So Rabbanan say like this: Bishlei mahasam, over there by the nida, the women in the bed, it has to come from someone. By the women in the bed, it had to come from someone, but over here by the mounds, Ema Oyrev Natla. I could say that it disappeared because maybe a raven came and took away the corpse or whatever it was. Allahacha Haidam Hechasa. But this blood had to come from somewhere. And no, there's no ravens coming in taking away women. Right? So it's one of these three women. One of them has to be tummy. You didn't find out which one, so it's got to be one of them. But when it comes to the tumah that's underneath the ground, so that I can say that maybe an animal came and ran off with it, and that's why you weren't able to find it. So over there's a logical reason to say that it should be tar. Tanya Amar Reb Meir. Reb Meir says, "Ma'aseh b'shikma shel Kfar Saba." There was a sycamore tree in Kfar Saba. Do we know what that is? I think so. She'im machzikim b'tumah, and there was tumah. It was presumed that there was tumah there. They did an examination, but they couldn't find it. Liyamim nishbar ruach was a strong wind by karta, and it knocked over, it uprooted the sycamore tree. And where was the the skull
under the tree.
under the base of the tree. They were examining all around the tree, but it was really right under the base. So you see, this is what Meir is saying. How can you say that you do a good examination and you didn't find it to say it's tar? Here we have a case. They did examination, they couldn't find it, and afterwards they found it. So Amalaya, the Chum said, Misham Raya, that's a proof. They didn't do a good examination. I'm talking about when they did a good examination. In your case, they didn't check under the tree. They checked everywhere around the tree. Tanya, starting the Bais, Rabbi Yisrael, it was a cave in Shichen. They said that this cave is tummy. It's presumed that it was tummy. Badku, they examined it. Till they reached the ground that was as smooth as a nail. It's like the cave is made from the water that drips through, but it becomes, like on the bottom of the rivers, the rocks become very smooth, like the shale or whatever it is. But this is probably like marble, or it becomes really smooth from the water that's dripping. They checked all the way to the base. They couldn't find it. It happened one day, after days, the workers went into because of the rain. They went for cover. And they dug with their shovels, and they found machtesh is a mortar, a bowl that was full of bones. So the Chachamim said, "You're bringing a proof from there." They didn't do a good examination. You're telling me that even with a good examination, it's still tamei. They didn't do a good examination. Tanya Abishal Eimer. Starting the Bais, Abishal says, "Ma'aseh b'sela beis chayrin." It's a story of a bedrock in Beis Chayrin. They said that in the bedrock there was tumah. But they weren't able to examine because it was too large. The area was too large. How are they going to examine such a large area? It's interesting how it says this. There was an older person there, Rabbi Shua ben Hananya Shema. His name was Rabbi Shua ben Hananya. It's funny that the Bais should say there was an older person. His name was Rabbi Shua ben Hananya. Rabbi Shua ben Hananya is a well-known Tana. It's like they're introducing us to him. Amar Lehem. He's a student of Rabbi Yeshua ben Zakkai. He's Rabbi Yeshua in the Mishnah. He says to them, "Havili Sadinim, bring me sheets." That's Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanani. Ashrei Yeladatah. I don't know. It must mean that it wasn't actually in the bedrock. It must mean it was somewhere in between. Yeah.
The area was too big to examine.
Right.
So that
Right. So the Havilai Sadinim, they said, "Bring me sheets." He brought him Sadinim, B'sharm b'mayim, he put them into water. Uparsan alayim, and he spread the sheets over the area. Makim tahara. Oh, you're gonna see. The Gemara's gonna answer. Yavish. Any place that was real bedrock will stay dry. When he lifted up the sheets, it didn't absorb because it was rock. Makam tuma, but the place that was tamei was lach, got wet. It absorbed the water because it looked like the whole thing looked like bedrock, but actually there were areas there that it wasn't real rock, and in there was badku. They checked those areas, and they found a pit that was full of a big pit that was full of bones. That's how the bedrock. Yeah. Tana. We're starting to Bais to Huabar Shmili Yishmael ben Netanya Chalalim. That's the pit that Yishmael ben Netanya filled with corpses, with the slain. Remember Yishmael ben Netanya? You know what that is? Yishmael ben Netanya was the one that rebelled against Gedalia ben Achikim. The fast of Gedalia was because on Rosh Hashanah, Yishmael ben Netanya shows up with 10 men or whatever, and they killed the Gedalia and all the people in the garrison. They killed also, and that's when the Jewish people had to leave the land of Israel. They went to Yirmiyahu Navi. They said, "Should we go down to Egypt because Nebuchadnezzar is going to come?" He said, "No, don't go to Egypt." They went anyway. Okay, so it says in the pasuk, "V'habar shehirshach from Yishmael is called Pigay Anashim Shehika Biyad Gedalia." The pit that Yishmael threw all the slain men that he hit by the hands of Gedalia. By the hands of Gedalia means probably alongside Gedalia, but the Gemara doesn't learn that. The Gemara says, Biyad Gedalia, in the hands of Gedalia, Gedalia Hargan, Gedalia killed someone. He killed these people. Gedalia didn't kill anyone. This bad guy, Yishmael, was the one that, Yishmael ben Netanya, he was the one that killed Gedalia and all the others. Over there, what happened was there was a fellow, Yochanan ben Kairach, that came to Gedalia and gave him information that Yishmael is going to come and to the party on Rosh Hashanah, to the meal on Rosh Hashanah, and he's going to come. He's a bad guy. He's planning an attack. So Gedalia was very trusting. He said, "No, it can't be. He would never do that." So Lechash, because Gedalia didn't suspect to it, Mala Lavakasa Tila Hargan. So it can attribute to him as if he was guilty, as if he killed him. Amar Rava. Rava says, Hailish Nabisha, this Lashon Hara, Afal Pidal Kabuli Lamibai, even though you should not accept it, but Mechash Mibai, but you still have to suspect to it. Because you should have taken precautions, even though you can't say that it's 100% true. You can't believe it, but you should nevertheless be suspicious. Hanu b'nei Galila. There were these people from the Galilee. D'nafa kalayo kala the katal nafsha. The rumor went out that they murdered someone. Asal kami dereb tarfin. They came to Reb Tarfin amalei l'tamrin and mar. They said, "Hide us, Master, hide us. They're coming to get us. We killed someone." They didn't say we killed someone. They said they're coming to get us because they say we killed someone. Amar lahu. He says to them, "Hechi navad. What should I do? Eily atmarinchu. If I don't hide you, chazu yasaichu. They'll catch you. Atmarinchu. If I do hide you, Amar Rabbanan. The Rabbanan said, Hailish Nabisha. This Lashon Hara. Afal gav de l'kabuli lamibai mechash lamibai. Even though I don't believe the Lashon Hara that you fellows murdered someone, but I still suspect to it. And if that's the case, then I don't want to harbor criminals. I'm not protecting you if you're guilty. Zilu aton tamru nafshaychu. You go hide yourself. I guess he's not going to. What he meant was, I'm not going to give you away. I'm not going to hand you in, but I'm also not protecting you. I don't know if it's true. Hashem says to Moshe, Altira. This was, don't be afraid of Oig. Hashem says, I'll do to him as I did to Sichain, Menachem, that just like the way you killed Sichain, so you'll be able to kill Oig. Don't be afraid of him. Michli, the Gemara says, Sichain v'Oig achi habi. Sichain and Oig are brothers. The Amar Mar, the master said, Sichain v'Oig, b'nei Achia ben Shapar Shamchazi habi. Sichain and Oig are the sons of Achia bar Shamchazi. Maishna mi'Oig the kamistathi, Maishna misichain b'lei kamistathi. Why was Moshe afraid of Oig, but he wasn't afraid of Sichain? There was no pasuk that said, don't be afraid of Sichain. It only says, don't be afraid of Oig.
What was big as it?
Maybe. But the Gemara is posing it that 1 second, they're brothers. It should have been the same. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. Rabbi Yochanan says, in the name of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, from the response of this tzaddik, you know the answer. You know what was in his heart. What is that from? Who's the tzaddik here? From Moshe? From Moshe. Why? Amar, he said, Shemet Hamal is Chushal Avram Avinu. Maybe the merit of Avram Avinu is going to stand for Oig. Shneimar v'yavay Apolit v'yagid Avram Ivri. Apolit came and told to Avram that Eily was captured. Rabbi Yochanan says this is Oig shepolit midar mabel. Why is he called v'yavay Apolit? Apolit means like a refugee.
He's the last one to stay.
That he's the one that remained after the flood. Itana Rabbanan. Not in the Bais. Beged Sha'avad by Kesem. There's a garment that there was a stain on it, but you can't find the stain anymore. Well, but it doesn't mean that it's clean. Could be it has more stains on it, or it could mean that it got dull, but it doesn't mean that it was really clean. So it says, you have to put, there's 7 types of astringents, there's 7 types of cleansing agents that are used to clean a garment, and then it becomes nullified. We'll see what they are. It's a Mishnah coming up. Reb Shimon ben Elazar says, you have to examine it. This is an English word, actually. Section. You see that?
Shchunas is a neighborhood.
Yeah, but it's an English word. Shchuna is section. Shin. SCN. SC.
SEC.
Sections. Shchunas. Okay. You have to check it piece by piece. Of the Shechva Zera, let's say there's Shechva Zera that's in a cloth. So how do you check that? So Chodesh, if it's a new cloth, because it's too thick, you can't hold it up to the sun to examine it. You have to use a needle to rub a needle over it and see if it gets caught in it. Shachok, if it's an older cloth, then then it's already worn out. You can hold it up to the sun and see if it's still there. There's no section that's less than 3 fingers. So you have to check it 3 fingers by 3 fingers. And then it's going to be clean. Oh, this is interesting. You have a garment. It's probably a wool garment, and there's a linen thread that's somewhere stuck in it. Shatness. Don't sell it to a non-Jew. And don't make it for a saddle, for a donkey. Mardas is a saddle or a rein? Saddle. But you can don't sell it to a non-Jew because it might end up coming back to a Jew, because he'll resell it to a Jew. He'll say, "I bought this from a Jewish fellow. It's for sure not shatnez." But you can make tachrich on the mace. You can make shrouds for a person that passed away that he wears. That they dress him in when he's buried. Rabbi Yosef says, "This is the problem. It's going to come. It's going to stand up for the first moment before he can run to the closet to get a new pair of clothes. He's going to be wearing shatnez. How can you dress him now? It must be that mitzvahs p'telas asalava. You won't have to keep the mitzvahs when Mashiach comes." Amalei Abaya v'temer Rabdimi. Rabbi says, and some say Rabdimi said, "V'amar Rabmani am Rabiani leishanu l'saftai." They only put it on him for the eulogy, but they don't put it on him for the burial. That would be asur. Amalei lavitmar alam Rabbi Yochanan afilu l'kayvrei. But Rabbi Yochanan was taught that even for burial, Rabbi Yochanan tamei. Rabbi Yochanan holds differently. He goes according to his reason. Rabbi Yochanan might exhibit mesim chafshi. Quotes a pasuk in Tehillim that says the dead are free. When a person dies, he becomes free. When he comes back alive, he doesn't become obligated again. So, in other words, it's not la'asad lavei, there's no mitzvahs. It's the dead la'asad lavei don't have mitzvahs. It's the dead part that exempts them. The dead that come back alive, they were already exempt. Amar Rafram bar Papa, Amar Rav Chisda. There's a lot of chassidus on this. We're rushing through it. Rafram bar Papa says in the name of Rav Chisda, the way that the dye gets absorbed in wool is different than the way that it gets absorbed in linen. So therefore, if you have a cloth that's wool, but there's a drop of linen there, so you dye it, and then you'll be able to catch this is like, they do these isotopes, they put in, it gets colored differently, right? So they would dye the cloth, and then you'll be able to see the where the linen is. How does Rav Chisda know? How does the old one know this? Rabbi is talking about his father-in-law. Amalei masnisini. It's a Mishnah. The Tanan by the Kachim Megillah Sela. You check, looking for the Tumah. You go down to the bedrock. The Ileka, and if you don't find it, Ema Erev Natla. And you say that a raven took it away. Imra means wool, kisna and linen. Together, they don't absorb the dye. You can't see it. Emar minta nater must have fallen out. Should I finish till the Mishnah?
Go.
Amar Ravacha, Breder Rabbi Mishmeid Marzutra. Ravacha, the son of Rabbi Yehuda, says the name Marzutra. This fellow that puts a thread of linen in a garment of wool, v'natke, and it fell out. We don't know if it fell out. He thinks it fell out. He doesn't know. Shapidami, it's enough. It's good. My time in Midiraisa Shatness. The Torah says Shatness, and Shatness is an acronym. It's a compound word for Achi Yeshua Tavi V'Nuz. It needs to be combed, spun, and woven together. This wasn't spun, combed, and woven. This was just a thread that was put in afterward. For Rabbanan who the Gazerbe, it's only Xavier with the Rabbanan. Kimid Layada, Inatke Shari, if you don't know if it fell out, so it's mutter because it's a Rabbanan. Maskefla Ravashi, Emer Aishoy Tavi V'Nuz. How do you know you need all three? This thread was woven in, it's one is enough. The halacha is that it midiraisa only if it's all together because it's put into one word. Shatness, it needs all three together. Tana Rabbanan beged tzva metamishum kesem. Tana Braisa, a colored garment does become tamei if it gets a stain on it. Rav Nasan bar Yosef Rameina metamishum kesem. He says it doesn't become tamei. It's like tiknu big day. Tzavanam lisha lahakal al kasmeim tiknu. They said that women can wear colored clothes even after the catastrophes that happened. They were allowed to wear colored clothing. That's to make them lenient. Why did they institute it? They instituted it so that if she wears colored clothing and she has a stain, she doesn't become tummy. Michlal, the asiri. That sounds that it should have been prohibited, and they had to permit it. The Gemara says in the Tananu, yes, it was taught. The Pulma Shel Aspasianus in the Battle of Vespasian, Gazral Ataris Chasanim, they made a decree not to wear, the Chasan can't wear a crown, Vala Iris, and they can't have drums or cymbals at the wedding. They also wanted to make a decree that women can't dress nice in colored clothing. Amri Haya Difa, they said it's better the other way. They lahakalat this man to be lenient for their stains. So it should be taught.
What's the code to get in?
Oh. The Zoom?
Yeah.
The
Zoom.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Shkoyach, man.